use that like kind of dog in you to kind of do where you're at now, right?
Absolutely. I feel like everything that has come my way, it looks like absolute luck. But typically, the person who works the hardest is the luckiest. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's that famous quote? Luck favors the prepared.
Exactly. But it's really like going after it. Like being prepared is one thing, but you can be prepared on paper. But when it's time to like execute your goals, it does nothing for you. That's a different trigger point. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right. That dog mentality that I developed in junior college is something that has helped me be successful throughout the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned from Sebastian, who played basketball too. Is he calls it the checklist life is what he calls it, and he goes, so he's like, I just follow the checklist. He's like, even if I don't get to it, I just keep rewriting the checklist. It's like whatever the tasks that are due, I just A, B, C. If I don't get to A, I might do B. If I don't get to B, I might do C.
Right.
And he goes, and what happens is that if I just keep looking at it, it's almost like a guilt thing that makes you more accountable. You're holding yourself accountable by just doing the checklist life.
Absolutely.
So instead of saying like, oh, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that, it's like, nah, it's just on my task to do. It's like whether I do it now or I do it 2 days from now, or I do it 3 days from now, or I do it a week from now, eventually it's gonna get done. It's just a matter of like sticking to it.
Right.
And he says he gets that from playing ball.
It's called non-negotiables.
Okay.
Okay, like you hear Kobe made it famous, but it's something that you like live by. Like since I think every college athlete does that.
Really?
Is you make that contract with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a difference between loving something and enjoying it. And when you're in your college years, you realize if you love the sport or do you just enjoy it. Okay, the people who love it, they have non-negotiables. No one wants to run 5 miles, 5 a.m. in the morning, 3 miles, 5 a.m. in the morning, but you got to do it. Right. Nobody wants to train 2-3 times a day. Nobody wants to give up their free time when everybody else is out partying. You got to go to sleep because you got practice and class in the morning, right? So it's a different mindset that you're coming from when you're playing sports.
Yeah, and it's crazy how I have a friend of mine who's a professor at I think it's University of Arizona.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but she's a professor, and she was telling me that the best students are all athletes. Everyone else is just, she never knows. But the athletes, whatever athlete, if they play like an organized sport, she knows they're going to show up. She knows they're gonna do stuff. Now whether they're gonna do well or not is a totally different story. But like they're the ones that just do the work. They're willing to do the work. So it kind of ties back into that. And it's crazy. Like now, because I'm in the fitness industry.
Right.
Like and I teach jiu-jitsu kids, and I see that like schools now are like reducing like athletics, which to me is absolutely ludicrous. It's like in my mind, it's like how do you have you're like inhibiting like a kid's potential of like growth into an adult if they don't play some type of organized sport of some sort.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the new generation is, which is why I think we're having all kinds of problems, to be honest with you. Yes. That in combination with some other stuff as well.
That's a super unfortunate variable for sure. I mean, because honestly, like sports to me is a microcosm of life. You learn so much about everyday life just by going through competitive sports.
Yeah.
Really competing, understanding that nothing's going to be handed to you. Understanding that you have to put the work in, but there are other things that come along with that. Like you can't just focus on one thing. So now you got to prioritize. That's where you develop the discipline to be able to schedule. Those are the things that you learn from playing competitive sports.
Yeah, it's just a different gear. It's what it is that I also feel like, like we listen to a lot of like the top guys in masculinity
right.
that you see on social media now, where they say it's like, it doesn't matter how you feel. It's what is it that you have to do, and you just got to do it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sports actually teaches you that. When you have that grind where you're not only, I never played organized sports where it's like team-oriented sports.
Right.
So that's one thing that I'm missing that I've been learning a little bit from my boy Sebastian is it's a different dynamic when you got multiple players that are just either as good or if not better than you, than being led by somebody else. So it's like you got to learn how to not only like motivate yourself, but you also got to learn how to be a team player. And it's just like two different things, and that's where I feel like I missed out, where I didn't play that sports like that. I felt like I have a good grind, but all the sports that I've ever done is all individual sports.
Okay.
You're like team related, but not really. It's like, yeah, I'm doing it for the team, but it's really like, it's make or break just on me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a lot of that. It's very similar. So what I would do is like compare the two, right?
Right.
So jiu-jitsu,
Right.
right? You're in the ring, you got a team of people who trained you. You got your cornermen, your coaches, and stuff like that.
Right.
That's basically how I looked at my teammates coming into practice. I wasn't coming into practice to have fun. I wasn't coming into practice with looking for friends. Even if you were my best friend outside of the court, when we got in front of those four lines, we're not friends.
It's work.
Right, it's work. So iron sharpens iron. So I'm coming in there to impose my dominance, straight up. And this is at practice. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that I was the best person on the floor. My best friend, 10 times more athletic than I am. You know, a couple inches taller, runs faster, jumps higher. It means nothing. I have to go smack at him just like he's gonna go smack at me. So it's very similar. It still has that one-on-one component.
Right. You just
understand what I'm
reframed it. Yeah. I never really thought of it that way. That makes sense, to just reframe it so that everybody that's helping you is technically like an active teammate, as if you're playing like team sports.
Everybody has their role.
Everybody has their role.
Same thing. Everybody does their job. Just because they're not in the ring with you, they still are just as important to the victory, right? Like when you win, they win. When they win, when they do well, you can see it in you, right? So it's the same thing. Team sports, individual sports, they're a lot closer than what everybody knows.
Yeah. That makes sense. Is that why you ended up kind of like pivoting and going into the fitness thing? Was because your life was so much surrounded by sports?
Yeah, I love sports. Still to this day, that's still my baseline, my staple. My staple is I love to compete.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked that clip. And if you'd like to see another clip, please go here. Or if you'd like to watch the full episode, you can also go here.